Well, how's everybody doing? We're making a video today. I made a video on the Slasher today. We had just kind of some random crazy events today, so I made just a bunch of clips. So I said I gotta get a video real quick on the Slasher. I get a lot of questions because a lot of people don't understand just how this thing quite works, and because everybody all over the country cuts different size logs and yada yada yada. So I get a lot of questions on how it operates. I got some the other day, so I'm going to put up a slashing video. So I said I might want to explain just a couple things real quick. Hopefully that way people better understand just how this machine, what we got going on. This is just I don't know, we got this a few years back, and yeah, it's worked pretty well for us. We've had a few different problems with it, but she's got the Cummins in it. That's held up pretty good. No real issues with that. We had to get in there and mess with the gearbox once, but yeah, it's pretty simple. Just your stiff legs and all that. Yeah, a couple joysticks. This has the foot pedals in there for your swing. And it's got the same joysticks as both chippers, but that one doesn't have triggers on it. So where the chipper has triggers, you gotta use for your feed wheels. So yeah, this thing does drive itself. That's one of the questions I get like the most about this machine, is if it drives itself. And yes, it drives itself. So what you got is a hydraulic motor here, and then you got this here. What do we got here? A Fuller, Eaton Fuller, and high low speed, and yeah, your neutral. So that's how it works. And then it's got a drive shaft that goes down there to your axles. And everybody's always, does that thing drive itself? It does drive itself. There's your high-low selector, and then I believe it's got, yeah, it's got six gears in her, and that's how it works. So it's got a couple buttons in the joystick that run to here, that power your drives there, and they do both drive. So there is a drive shaft running there, and it does steer. That's the other thing. A lot of people wonder if it steers. So it's just a really simple cylinder there that goes back and forth and then pushes that bar back and forth. It's just that simple. And air take for your brakes. That's the one thing that this doesn't have, is it doesn't have brakes from the machine. So it's got brakes like when you hook it up to your truck, and so a lot of people wonder if you can drive this down the road and whatnot, and you can if it's fine, but if it's flat and level and you don't have to go that far, just around a corner or something. But we usually don't drive it anywhere. I mean, we drove it to a couple jobs where you're going across the road or something, then it's not bad. If this thing takes off downhill, I don't know what'll happen. When we first got it, we realized that real quick because we had to go down a little hill. The guy was driving it, and luckily it come to a halt. But the problem is the transmission and this hydraulic motor. That hydraulic motor is just screaming because it's trying to do way too much, and so it takes off. You can't stop, and if you drop a stiff leg, it wouldn't be pretty because your front end would shoot whichever way that stiff leg was going, and you would just be flat out of control, and there's no way you could drop them at the same time together to stop yourself. So we don't hardly ever drive it down the road. Very, very seldom do we drive it. I mean, if we were going across the road to chew on that nice aspen chipwood over there, we wouldn't need the Slasher, I guess, because it's all chipwood. But I mean, going over there is not a big deal, but if we had to go way up the road, it's something we just don't want to do. It's not made to do that. So what happens is this grapple flips up, grabs onto here, and then you extend that out, and then that head right there sits right here. And then it's just pretty simple. You just back a truck up under it. It's just like the chipper over there. Got a fifth wheel plate under that, fifth wheel plate under this, air lines. and a truck can pull it anywhere. So a little tricky hooking it up, because this is a little higher than the back of your truck. So therefore, you got to put your stiff legs down in the front sometimes and lift up your boom a little bit, and the front end will pop right up and get right where you need to go. So yeah, that's how it works. And then once you get off the truck, you gotta, your brakes are fine. Once you drop it off from the truck, you actually have to let that tank bleed out. Otherwise, it'll keep your brakes engaged and you can't move it. So that's kind of how this Prentice 2384 works. There's not a whole lot. It's kind of like the Barco at the other job. It's the same. It's a little tricky to run that one, because this has got dedicated buttons for your drives. That one you have to kick your saw in, pull a lever back, and then one lever controls your steering and or your forward reverse, and then one joystick controls your steering when you push the button down. So it's like you gotta just know what you're doing, and it's really not that big of a deal once you figure it out. But I mean, this is set up to cut 8s and 10s. We have it set up to cut 12s and 16s. 16s butted up to the back of the back of this here. So that's kind of how that works. This cylinder slides back, and that's your 12-foot mark there when you lay this down. And so yeah, another question I get is, why do we cut the logs like we do? Because all around the world we do stuff different. You know what I mean? And people see us hauling our 8-foot logs, and I think we're crazy, but we can get the most cordage on a load if it's 8 foot, and those are 10 foot. But we're just hauling to the mills around here, and that's what they want. And then there's a little bit of firewood. I haven't ever come across any firewood. So the mills in our area call for this wood like this. That's why we haul it like this, and that's why we cut it like this, and that's why the machine's set up like this, is because that's what the mills are calling for in our area. Now, out where you are around the country or world, you guys can totally different stuff. I mean, everywhere you go, people do things different, and I guess that's what's enjoyable about YouTube, is you get to see that people do stuff way different around the world than you do. And so yeah, we do things a little bit different. But this is the new saw blade that we had dedicated. We had bought this for the old slasher, because that's got a crack coming out of the old slasher and old blade. So when this one fell off like it did the other day, we had a new blade at the shop, so it's easier to change the blade than to change all the teeth, because we need it right away. So we just do a new blade on here, and then that blade can get the teeth put in it, put in the other one. But I'm not sure how that works there. It's the first time I looked at it, but I think this is bottomed out. I'll have to check that tomorrow, make sure she's tight on there. But yeah, it's cutting absolutely great, no problems with the cutting. But boy, have we got some nasty garbage here. Boy, I come into some nasty stuff. I mean, that's all one tree, all this. It's not pretty. And then there's some more kicking around here, and they're like this. It's hard to see, but that's a big old V, and then that's coming off the other end. I think I could trim that up and get a log out of it though. But there was some nasties floating around here, but that's that one log that comes into all this. Yeah, it's fun to trim apart, and because what you're doing, you're trying to get stuff to go through the chipper, cutting logs, but you got to help the chipper guy out a little bit. That's kind of, when it comes to stuff like that, it's real fun trying to get that stuff straightened out. But that is the slasher, kind of in a nutshell. So thought I'd explain it to you guys real quick, how this grill works. And yeah, it's cut a lot of timber for us, a lot of logs, but it's a big John trailer, so you know you're good to go. Anywho, that wraps her up. I'm gonna go home and But I thought I'd give you a real quick video. Kind of how it works. Everyone's wondering how it drove and why we cut the logs like we do and why we do what we do. So, anywho, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. Just keep rolling. Hopefully you guys all have a blessed day. We'll catch you later in another installment of that chipper day, where you never know what's going to happen.